Hello everyone, Brian Kibler here with another in my constructed video series for StarCityGames.com. And we're going to be playing some Standard today. I realize that the new set, Fate Reforged, is going to be out very, very soon. So it's sort of relevant to the current Standard format and actually playing games in it is lower than it might be, if it were still, say, a month out. But I think this is a deck that I only recently started really experimenting with, and I wanted to get a better handle for it going into the new Standard format. While things will change, there's still a lot of value to seeing sort of what works structurally from a sort of deck building standpoint, and explore a deck that you may want to update with the new cards. I think this is a deck that has a lot of potential. And I think that it is a deck that also does have a lot of exciting cards that may possibly get added to it when the new set releases. The Flame Fury, whatever Phoenix, the new Phoenix, I think is pretty excellent. Yasova Dragonclaw, the 4/2 that you can threaten every turn, is also pretty exciting for a deck like this. And then there's the Shaman, the 4/2 haste. Your guys, whenever they damage an opponent, get +1/+1. And you can draw cards for each creature with 4 or more power. That card also seems like it's potentially pretty powerful in a shell like this. But I want to figure out what the shell that I want to be building from is moving into the new set. And this is the exact list, I believe, from my article that went up last week. That was sort of the new direction that I wanted to try with the green-red deck. The main difference from the previous build is that I have the 4 copies of Lightning Strike in my main deck. The popularity of Obzen Aggro is a big part of the reason that I made that shift, and also because it supports Goblin Rabblemaster better. Goblin Rabblemaster is a card that plays really well with spells and not quite as well with creatures. If you have a Rabblemaster and you can kill your opponent's guy and attack, that's really powerful, whereas if you have a Rabblemaster and then just another large creature in your hand, that doesn't really do very much. Your Rabblemaster is frequently just going to get brick-walled by a big creature the opposing side of the table. Yeah, I just wanted to give this a shot. I really enjoyed playing this deck in Grand Prix Denver last weekend. I guess 2 weeks ago by the time you're going to actually be seeing this. Where I went 12-3 and finished, I believe, in 20th place. The deck felt really strong, and that was the version that didn't have Lightning Strike, and I was still doing very well against the Obzen Aggro decks, which are very, very popular in the field. So I want to give this particular version a shot and see how it goes. So yeah, I mean, not a ton to say compared to my previous lists. Again, Lightning Strike's a big change. I only have 3 Crater's Claws right now. Compared to Teamer, Green-Red is not quite as good as turning on Crater's Claw. You only really have Boonsayer to be able to consistently do it early. Fnatic can sometimes turn it on, but isn't guaranteed to be able to turn it on the following turn. So, if you have like Elvish Mystic and a Fnatic of Xenagos, you can't necessarily Crater's Claws with Ferocious the next turn. So I'm playing Lightning Strike to more consistently be able to remove cheap threats. Crater's Claw is still there to finish off the big creatures in the opponent, but Lightning Strike can more consistently allow your small creatures to attack through theirs, which is important when you have Rabblemaster. It also supports Xenagos really well. Xenagos is a card that has really been up and down in Standard in terms of how powerful and impressive it has been. It was pretty good in the last Standard. They're actually Planeswalker, Jund Planeswalker. Xenagos was basically the reason that deck was good. But early in this Standard format, it was oppressed by Mantis Rider. When Jeskai Aggro was very popular, Xenagos basically was unplayable because you couldn't really get any value out of it when your opponent could almost always, many of your opponents would be able to just kill it with Mantis Rider basically for free. Given the decline in the popularity of Mantis Rider, there's more Jeskai token style decks rather than the Mantis Rider aggro decks. Xenagos' stock has risen once again, and Lightning Strike allows you to play sort of a protect the Xenagos game against some decks, being able to Lightning Strike your opponent's creature, when you're on the draw, to be able to actually play out your Xenagos, or to just protect your Xenagos from their creatures that may be able to pressure it. Also, just works really well. Xenagos making 2/2 Lightning Strike can finish off an opposing Corsair, Crewfix, or Siege Rhino pretty easily. Then Sarkhan I think is actually also quite good right now. Just the 4/4 haste dragon is obviously pretty powerful. But I'm playing 2 copies of Sarkhan and only 3 copies of Stormbreath because Sarkhan, the removal effect is extremely good against all the other creature decks. And in particular, the body being unable to be killed by Murderous Cut matters quite a bit against a lot of the whip decks that use Cut as a primary removal spell. So Sideboard, I have three Pelucranoses in my sideboard. I don't have them in my main deck, basically for the same reason I do have Sarkhan, that there's a lot of just removal out there, like Murderous Cut, that makes like a 4-drop that doesn't give you any value against a removal spell pretty weak. I have Ashclad Phoenix and Xenagos, basically because they match up very well against a lot of the removal in the format. Phoenix is somewhat vulnerable to things like Abzan Charm or Utter End or Silence the Believers, but overall can stand up to a lot of the removal that's out there. Pelucranos against red decks, though, is just so powerful, so I have 3 of them in the sideboard to be able to bring in those situations. Then, yeah, everything else is fairly self-explanatory, I think. Arc Lightning against tokens and small creatures, Destructive Revelry against enchantments, basically. Fated Conflagration is nice to be able to take out opposing Siege Rhinos, and also is pretty powerful at being able to deal with Planeswalkers. So against a lot of the Abzan mid-range or control-style decks, Conflagration has a lot of value. So yeah, that is about it. Let's go in and play some games.